So do no harm, you get 50% extra healing towards them for every hook state they have. And you also get a progression bonus for great skill checks. The reason I don't like this perk is because it doesn't do anything if nobody gets hooked. That's a rare situation. Almost always somebody's going to get hooked, okay? But there are games where people only get hooked once or not at all. Other issue I have with this perk, it only applies to other survivors. It does not do anything for yourself. Third thing is that when you bring a perk into a match, that perk is competing with every other perk in the game for that slot. So when you think about the competition, the main competition you have is will make it and botany knowledge. And when you think about it, it's like, well, botany just gives me a flat 50% healing speed increase to everybody, to myself, to my allies, and there is no condition to that. Like, yes, you get a slight penalty to healing efficiency, but that can be offset with add-ons for your medkit. So for do no harm, to have the same impact as botany knowledge, your teammates have to be hooked at least once. And then for it to become better, they have to be hooked twice. You know, let's say you heal them once after their second hook. Okay, they're healed now, they're on their second hook. If the killer ever finds that player again, do you think the killer is going to let them get away? They're probably going to tunnel them out. So that survivor is going to get tunneled out after you healed them only once with this perk, and that's all the value you'll ever get out of this perk for that survivor. I find that botany is just safer, it's better in general. If you bring self-care, you can use it on yourself. Anyway, duty of care. I know a lot of people like this one too. I feel like it's for the same reason as do no harm. It's like, oh, that's a big number, 25% haste. Oh, I love the big numbers, you know? When you take a protection hit while healthy, survivors near you get 25% haste for 6 seconds. I mean, I have been on the receiving end of this perk. I have received the benefit, and it feels really good to have that much speed. Like, you feel the speed. Clearly an anti-tunneling perk. It's great. It's great for anti-tunneling, except against the highest tier killers who could care less if you have 25% extra speed because they're already running at like 150% speed. So killers like Nurse and Blight and Spirit and Dracula, who can turn into bat form, even Wraith sort of, he has like what 130, 140 with Windstorm or whatever it's called. And these killers don't care about your haste, they'll just chase you down. And it also only lasts 6 seconds, so it's not a huge deal. And, you know, Hillbilly too, like, you have all these killers with gap closers, and also Kaneki too. Like, Kaneki just came out, and he's like, I think he has a pick rate right now of 20%, which is enormous. And obviously he's a popular killer, and his power is OP, and he's, you know, I don't think he's S tier, he's probably like A tier, but he's still really strong for that reason. The mobility, the insta free hits and stuff feels like garbage playing against him, honestly, but these devs are kind of dumb. Why would you give him free deep wounds? It's like, it's just an extra 8 seconds of doing nothing for the survivors. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. I think if you want a better anti-tunneling perk, you would run Babysitter. They buff Babysitter. I feel like this could very well become like the borrowed time from 6 or 7 years ago, where everybody was running borrowed time because it was so good. You don't leave scratch marks, you don't leave pools of blood, and you get a huge haste effect for a huge amount of time. The killer aura reveal is just the icing on the cake. So I like Babysitter a lot more than Duty of Care for anti-tunneling. This is mostly just for Swifts who want to feel like they're doing something cool or just annoying the killer, basically, who like to stick together. And somebody brings Circle of Healing, like somebody takes a hit and then they're like, oh, okay, he's chasing me, guys. You can go heal up in like 4 seconds now. Then they do it again to get that. Basically, an infinite 25% haste, cycling between the survivors, taking hits and stuff. That's cool if you're in a group, but in realistic solo queue play, you don't want to be taking Duty of Care hits just for fun. It's more like, this is a critical situation. He's on death hook. I need to take a hit for him, that kind of thing. That's my thought on Duty of Care. And this is my favorite one, but it's really like the conditions and the cooldown and the aura reveal, they're all very, by itself, 2 seconds of aura reveal isn't really anything. It really isn't much. By itself, this perk is very good at all. It's only good when you pair it with the perks I mentioned earlier. When you pair Rapid Response with Eyes of Belmont and Vigil, you could take out Sprint Burst for something else if you want to use it with lockers exclusively. You can use Head On, but I find that limits the effectiveness quite a bit because then you have to find a locker, and that can take 5 seconds to make it to a locker. Now, of course, you could opt to not use any exhaustion perk with this and rely on the killer proccing your exhaustion through add-ons like the Venomous Concoction with Huntress or Mindbreaker or some other exhaustion causing effect. But it's also a long shot because most killers, they don't tend to run those types of exhaustion add-ons or perks. So you do want to proc this by yourself in some way. You can, like I said, you can just use lockers. There is this exhausted effect for 20 seconds with the lockers, but I don't like that. I don't like it wastes a lot of time. It takes you like 5 seconds to get to a locker, then you spend 1 second getting in there. No, actually, it's like 2 seconds if you're doing it slowly. The other thing I hate about this perk is that it has to be a fast locker exit. You would have to equip Quick and Quiet because it has to be a fast locker exit, right? So unless you want to give away your position, your entire build is dedicated to activating rapid response. I mean, for a stealth player like me who kind of knows how to take advantage of it, like that's fine. I don't mind because it's really strong. But you can be hard countered. Like my first 2 matches this stream, I was pretty hard countered by a Wesker who was using Unforeseen and Trail of Torment. I couldn't see him the entire match almost. And then if you get a killer like Wraith, you're totally screwed because he's permanently invisible, right? But I think in like 70% of matches, this build is very helpful. When you combine everything, this is probably her best perk when you have the right build.